Hello everyone, welcome back to another Magic the Gathering video. Today we're going to be looking at the Scrappy Survivor Precon. This is the one that Dogmeat Ever Loyal is the commander of. For this Precon analysis, I really just want to focus on the new cards in the set. We'll see what reprints are in there and what can be useful and stuff like that. And I'll give a quick oh, that's a good card, that's a not so good card and stuff. But I really want to focus. I'm going to read every new card, give you my thoughts and opinions on it, tell you if I think it's going to be good, if I think it's going to be bad, all that in between. So let's just get started right away. Don't want to waste any time here. So starting off with Dogmeat Ever Loyal, he is a red, white, and green. Sorry, I'm already stuttering. That's horrible. He's a 3/3 legendary dog creature, and when Dogmeat enters the battlefield, mill 5 cards and return an aura or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, create a junk token. So a junk token, as I stated in previous videos, is a artifact token that you can tap to sacrifice to exile the top card of your library, and then you can play that card until the end of that turn, and you can only do it as a sorcery. It's a form of risky card draw. I forgot the exact word for it. I know some people know it. I know I'm going to get flamed in the comments for not remembering the name of it, but it's really popular in red. I think Dogmeat will be solid. He's an interesting aura and equipment commander. Not very often do you see aura and equipment commanders that care about milling stuff to the graveyard, and especially in the colors that he's in red, green, and white. So definitely interesting mechanics. It'll be fun to build around. He definitely plays into the, obviously, with the name of the set or name of the Precon being Scrappy Survivors, they're really focusing on being a survivor in the wasteland. So I think that is a cool way to do that with Dogmeat. And Dogmeat's a lovable character, so he's going to sell more Precons. That's just how it works. But anyway, on to our next card. Kate Cage Brawler is a red and a green 1/1 legendary creature human warrior. As long as it's your turn, Kate Cage Brawler has Indestructible. And whenever Kate attacks, you and defending player each draw a card, then discard a card. Put 2 1/1 counters on Kate if you discarded the card with the highest mana value among those cards, or tied for the highest. So, very interesting red and green draw and discard commander. I like that she gets Indestructible when it's your turn, so it incentivizes you to attack. Even if she's just a 1/1, right? Especially because she has an attack trigger, so having that little bit of protection is very nice. 2 1/1 card or 1/1 counters for discarding a card with the highest mana value doesn't seem super worth it. I don't think it's going to be a super strong card, but it could be an interesting card to brew around, and there could be some fun builds that people make from it. On to our next card. Gunner Conscript is a 1 colorless and a green 2/2 creature human mercenary. They have trample. Gunner Conscript gets +1/+1 for each aura and equipment attached to it. When Gunner dies, if it was enchanted, create a junk token, or when it dies, if it was equipped, create a junk token. So you can get both of those triggers when it dies if you have it enchanted and equipped. It's literally just it's a 2/2 with trample that gets a bonus for every aura and equipment attached to it. You just want to stack as many things on it as you can. That's shown by the art too. I think it'll be good in any aura and equipment deck that has green in it. I think it'll probably be not a must include, but a definitely recommended include. I like that card a lot. On to the next card. Ian the Reckless is a 1 colorless and a red 2/1 legendary creature human warrior. Whenever Ian the Reckless attacks, if it's modified, you may have it deal damage equal to its power to you and any target. Modifying is I guess it says it right there. Equipment, auras you control, and counters are modifications. So if he has an equipment, if he has an aura on him, or if he has any counters of any kind on him, then he is considered a modified creature. I don't know how strong this is for 2 mana, a 2/1 that has an attack trigger. Seems decent, especially in a deck like this where you're building around that anyway. I guess he would be useful. If you would put a Colossus Hammer on him, and then every time you swing you get to do 12 damage or something, that would be kind of nice. So definitely has its uses. I don't know how strong it will necessarily be, though. Mr. Gutsy is a 2 colorless artifact creature robot soldier. He's a 1/1. Whenever you cast an aura or equipment spell, put a 1/1 counter on Mr. Gutsy, and when Mr. Gutsy dies, create X junk tokens, where X is the number of 1/1 counters on it. I think he's good alone for the first ability, where if you cast an aura or equipment spell, put a 1/1 counter on him, especially being a 1/1 for 2, like that's in a deck like this where all you want to do is cast auras and enchant or auras and equipments. Definitely very, very strong, very good. You know, you can play him first turn if you get a Soul Ring in your opening hand with him. So I'm a fan. I think he'll see a lot of play, especially in this deck, and anybody that chooses to upgrade this deck. That is a reprint. Pure Steel Paladin is a great equipment deck, or equipment card for equipment decks. Armory Paladin is a different Paladin. He is a 1 colorless, a red and a white 3/3 creature human knight with trample, and whenever you cast an aura or equipment spell, exile top card of your library. You may play that card until the end of turn. Very similar to Pure Steel Paladin. That is a tongue twister. Pure Steel says whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. He is just saying whenever aura or equipment, so that's different. You get to do the risky draw. I should probably double check what the actual term for that is, but it's something with like chance and risk and stuff. I think he's good. I think he's solid. He fits well in the deck. You know, so far they've done a really good job at putting a lot of cards that affect aura and equipment, so it feels very like meshed together very well. So I'm a fan so far. Brotherhood Outcast is a 2 colorless and a white creature human soldier with 3/2. When he ETBs, choose one. You can return a target aura or equipment card with mana value 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. You can put a shield counter on a target creature. If you put a shield counter on a target creature, that works with Ian the Reckless, where it would modify him. Not that that's not really a good combo or anything, but just a thought. Being able to return an aura or equipment card with mana value 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield for 3 mana. It's pretty solid. I think you're getting your Lightning Greaves back with that. You're getting your Swiftfoot Boots. You're getting your, oh man, what are you getting? Keen Sense is that aura, right? Oh man, every equipment and artifact is just, or equipment and aura is just leaving me right now. Your Rancors, even though that already reses itself, I guess. You're getting all your swords, I think. Most of your swords, some of your swords, maybe not any of your swords. I don't know. I really need to update myself on my equipment, so I guess that would have been helpful before trying to do this video, but whatever. Codsworth, Handy Helper. I love Codsworth from Fallout 4, but it's not really a side topic, but I do like him a lot as a character. 2 colorless and a white 2/3 legendary artifact creature robot. He says commanders you control have Ward 2. Which, that's a nice ability. Tap, add 2 white mana. Spend this mana only to cast aura or equipment spells. That's a nice ability. And tap, attach target aura or equipment you control to target creature you control. Activate only as sorcery. That is a really great card for this deck. Not only is it a 2 mana dork. Obviously, it costs 3 mana, but whatever. You get commander protection. You get a mana dork that works well with your deck. And then you get to attach equipments for free and auras for free. So now you can attach Colossus Hammer instead of paying the 8, I think it is, or 10 or something. I forgot the exact number, but instead of paying the equip cost for that, you can tap Codsworth instead to pay or equip it to something for free. That is awesome. Big fan of Codsworth. Crimson Carabiner is a 2 colorless and a red 1/2 creature human scout with double strike and trample. Whenever Crimson Carabiner deals combat damage to a player, create a junk token. So that will trigger twice off of the double strike. That's why he's a 1/2 instead of a 2/2. So he'll deal 2 damage, typically with no obstructions. He'll deal 2 damage, make 2 junk tokens. It having trample also is very nice because if you can upgrade it anyway with like a 1/1 counter or an equipment or an aura, you can hit through things. So that will be a good card for this deck specifically, who wants to it seems like play a lot of cards off top of the library, and also obviously using auras and equipment. Moira Brown, Guide Author, is a 1 colorless red and a white 2/3 legendary creature human citizen. When Moira enters the battlefield, create a colorless equipment artifact token named Wasteland Survival Guide. With equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each quest counter among permanents you control, and equip 1. Whenever you attack, put a quest counter on target non-land permanent you control. Interesting. So, what we noticed in the Hail Caesar deck in the previous video, go check out that previous video, please. If you would like this content, you'll like my other content, hopefully. We noticed that there was a lot of quest counters, which was very on theme with the Fallout games and going on quests and stuff like that. I'm not personally a big fan of token equipment artifacts. They feel clunky for gameplay purposes. They're kind of annoying to deal with, being like, especially if you don't have the token and you use the back of a card and be like, oh, this is my Wasteland survival guide with this ability. It's like, okay, dude, like, it'd be nice if you had the card. But granted, it is a Precon, so it probably will come with the token, so it's going to be a non-issue more than likely. But I think the effect is pretty strong overall, especially the quest counter boost, because that will synergize with any card that cares about quest counters, not just the token artifact that she makes. 3-Dog Galaxy News DJ is a 1 colorless red and a white 1/5 legendary creature human bard. Whenever you attack, you may pay 2 mana, sack an aura attached to 3-Dog. When you sack an aura this way, for each other attacking creature you control, create a token that's a copy of that work attached to that creature. That is a really cool commander. I really like that. Essentially, you can just, take your... I really can't think of any red and white enchantments off the top of my head, but if you had them enchanted with something like, Rancor is the first one that comes to mind, but it's not in green, so if he was your commander... But whatever, for this deck purposes, if you had him enchanted with a Rancor and you sacked it, now every creature you control gets a copy of Rancor on them. That's strong. Especially for 2 mana, like, that's really, really strong, I think. Veronica Dissident Scribe is a 2 colorless and a red 3/3 legendary creature, human artificer, and rogue. It has menace, and whenever Veronica attacks, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Whenever you discard one or more non-land cards for the first time each turn, create a junk token. Just discard tribal. I don't think it's that strong. I'm not a big fan of this card. It's like cycling your hand or whatever, but I might be proven wrong. It might be a really strong card, but who knows. Cast Hand of Vengeance is a 2 colorless red and a white 4/3 legendary creature, human ranger. It has vigilance, and whenever cast or another creature you control dies, if it was enchanted or equipped, return any number of aura cards that were attached to it from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to target creature, and attach any number of equipment that were attached to it to that creature. Basically, it just lets you hold on to any artifacts or equipments that were on the creature. The auras are really the part that matters. I say artifacts or equipment. The auras are the part that matters, because the equipment will stay on the field anyway. But yeah, that's a nice way to not lose your auras, especially in an aura-based deck. I'm a fan of that card. I think that's pretty strong. Commander Sophia de Gure is a 3 colorless and a white 1/3 legendary creature, human pilot. It has flash, and whenever commander enters the battlefield, destroy up to 1 target legendary permanent. That permanent's controller creates a junk token. Just some flash removal. Only for legendary permanents. For 4 mana, I don't think that's very strong. And you give them a junk token. I think there's just better removal that you would run in your deck than that. But maybe in the right build, it would see some play, but who knows. Duchess Wayward Tavern Keep is a 3 colorless and a red 4/3 legendary creature, human citizen. Hunters for Hire says, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a quest counter on it. And for 1 mana, remove a quest counter from a permanent you control, create a junk token. So more quest counter synergy. Big fan of it, especially in this set. I like the quest counters here. I like the quest counters on their enchantments and stuff like that too, from the past, but I think that's a decent card. I don't think it's anything crazy or game breaking, but we'll see. Again, I could be wrong about any of these. This is just my very first initial thought. This is my first time ever seeing these cards, so I'm just off the dome. I know I'm flying through them. I'm trying to keep the video kind of short, but I'm giving you my best impression right off the rip. So Bighorn Rancher is a 4 colorless and a green 2/5 creature, human ranger with vigilance, and tap add an amount of mana equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. That's not bad. 5 mana is kind of steep though. And then sacrifice Bighorn Rancher. You gain life equal to the greatest toughness among other creatures you control. I think you could run him in any big creature deck. Just offer it. You can throw him in dinosaurs. You can throw him in I guess Rakdos is red and black. Can't throw him in there. But no, he's solid. I'm a fan of that for sure. I think he's very cool. Preston Garvey, my arch nemesis. If any of you have played Fallout 4, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But Preston Garvey Minuteman is a 2-colorless, a red and a green and a white. I believe he is the alternate commander for the deck. But Preston Garvey is a 4/4, a legendary creature, human soldier. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a green aura enchantment token named Settlement. Attached to up to 1 target land you control. It has enchant land, and enchanted land has tap, add 1 mana of any color. So he just color fixes for you at the beginning of combat on your turn without having to do anything else. And then whenever he attacks, untap each enchanted permanent you control. I think he's actually pretty strong. The once a turn trigger on combat on your turn is kind of nice, especially because as long as you get him on the field, which I guess if you get him on the field, you wouldn't have to worry about color fixing if he was your commander. But the ability to play anything, and then also essentially having 2 main phases with all your lands on tap if you got everything enchanted, plus untapping all your enchanted creatures. Definitely a fan. I think he'll be cool. I think a lot of people will want to build around him. I think he'll be very fun. Maybe not to play against, but he'll be fun to play. Super Mutant Scavenger is a 4-colorless and a green 5/5 creature mutant warrior. He would trample. When Super Mutant Scavenger enters the battlefield or dies, return up to 1 target aura or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. So he's just some aura and equipment graveyard recursion. I think he's solid. He triggers when he ETBs or dies, so you'll get 2 recursions off of 5 mana. I think that's good. I don't think you really need more than that. I guess if it was a 1 mana, it did the same thing, it'd be awesome. But 5 mana feels fair for that ability, I guess is what I mean. Anyway, on to our spells. A lot of enchantments in this deck. Surprised by a lot of artifacts too. Actually, the same amount, 17. Anyway, besides the point, ignore that. Spells. Path to Exile is a returning card, very good card. You should be running Path to Exile. Besides the point, Heroic Intervention, also a reprint, very good card. I actually don't have a copy of it, so if I pick up this deck, it would be very nice to get a copy of Heroic Intervention. I wonder if this Precon reprint is going to bring the price down any. I'm not so sure about that. But Inventory Management is a red and white instance with Split Second. There's a lot of Split Second cards in this set. But anyway, it's got Split Second, and for each aura and equipment you control, you may attach to a creature you control. So, Inventory Management, you get to rearrange all your auras and enchantments on all your creatures. Solid card. Very on flavor, too. I am a fan of that card. You could play this to rearrange your Lightning Greaves onto your commander to protect it from incoming Lightning Bolt or Path to Exile or something like that. So, that's a cool card. Very flavorful. I'm a big fan. Like I said, big fan. Valorant Stance is a reprint. Not really that notable. Breakdown. 2 colorless and a green, instant, destroy a target artifact or enchantment, create a junk token. Just a naturalize that works for this deck. There's a little extra boost, 1 extra mana. Not bad. Chaos Warp, all-time favorites of mine. Single Combat is a 3 colorless and a 2 white sorcery. Each player chooses a creature or planeswalker they control, then sacrifices the rest. I'm stuttering so much. I'm so sorry. Each player chooses a creature or planeswalker they control, then sacrifices the rest. Players can't cast creature or planeswalker spells until the end of your next turn. So nobody can do that, but you have to play on your turn. That's interesting. I don't think it's really strong, but especially because if you're playing against a Voltron deck, they just keep their giant Voltron guy, but it's still pretty solid. Megaton's Fate is 5 colors and a red. Sorcery, choose 1, destroy target artifact, create 4 treasure tokens, or deal 8 damage to each creature. Each player gets 4 rad counters. 6 mana's kind of a lot for that. Even if one of them gets you 4 mana back. I don't know. I'd have to see it in play to know how strong it is. It just doesn't feel that strong on paper right now. Blasphemous Act, another great card. Good reprint. I love seeing it in precons and stuff. Artifacts, Basilisk Caller, great card. Love seeing it. Bloodforged Battle Axe, another great card. Explorer Scope, great card. Especially for artifacts, I guess. It's literally just like ramp. Masterwork of Ingenuity is another great card for this deck. Pit-Boy 3000. This is a new card. New artifact, new equipment. Yay. One colorless artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature attacks, choose one. You can draw a card and discard a card, or you can put a 1/1 counter on that creature, or you can untap up to 2 target lands. Huh. It's on attack, too. Not bad. Not bad. I actually think that's a pretty good equipment. You get to draw a card, discard a card, you can put a 1/1 counter on the creature, or you can untap 2 lands. Yeah, that's not bad. Equip 2, also. So you're paying 3 mana to get onto a creature. Very good, very good. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, great stuff, great stuff. Junk Jet is a new card. 1 colorless and a red, artifact equipment. When it ETBs, create a junk token. Okay. Very on theme with all the other cards in the set. 3 mana, sacrifice another artifact, double equip creature's power until the end of turn to equip 1. That's interesting. It's an artifact sack outlet, and it will keep doubling. And you can do it for as many times as you can sacrifice artifacts and pay the 3 mana. It's equip 1. It's interesting. I think I bet there's going to be some janky junk jet builds after this set comes out, and I am very excited to see that. I don't think it's game breaking by any means, though. Silver Shroud Costume is a 2 colorless artifact equipment flash. When it enters the battlefield, attaches to target creature you control. That creature gains Shroud until the end of turn. Equipped creature can't be blocked. Oh, that's pretty good. Even though you gain Shroud till the end of turn, the equipped creature can't be blocked. It's pretty solid, too. Especially if you're paying 2 mana and you get to skip the avoid, or you get to skip the equipped cost, that is, not the avoid cost. So, yeah, that's a really good card, I think. It's unfortunate that Shroud only lasts till the end of turn, but for gameplay reasons, I think that makes sense. Swiftfoot Boots, good card. Agility Bobblehead. This is another one of the bobbleheads. It does the same as all the other bobbleheads. It taps for mana of any color. It's a 3 costing artifact, but it has an effect based on how many bobbleheads you control. So 3 mana tap, up to X target creature you control. Each gain haste until the end of the turn and can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with haste, where X is the number of bobbleheads you control as you activate his ability. Nothing crazy, but I do think people are going to build around the bobbleheads for fun, so I am a fan of that. Behemoth Sledge is mid. Champion's Helm is pretty solid, but nothing crazy. Fire Shrieker is solid. It gives you double strike. Cool. Lizard Blades does the same thing for cheaper, I think, but whatever. Perception Bobblehead does the same thing as all the other bobbleheads, but 3 mana tapping. Look at the top X card of your library, or X is the number of bobbleheads you control. You may cast a spell with mana value 3 or less from among them without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I think that is one of the stronger bobbleheads. Maybe not. Mana value 3 or less isn't super crazy, but in a deck like this with a lot of low-costing equipments and auras, I think it's pretty solid here. Pre-war Formal Wear is a 2 colors on white artifact equipment. When it ETBs, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield and attach the Formal Wear to it. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has vigilance. Equip 3. So it recurs a creature from the graveyard 3 or less, and you get to attach it to it for free, and it gives it +2/+2 and vigilance. I think that's a very strong card for 3 mana. But obviously, like I said before, I can be incredibly wrong. But I think that I think it's very strong. Brass Knuckles is okay, nothing crazy. Abundant Growth, solid card, great card even. Rancor is pretty good. Sticky Fingers has menace and whenever it just kind of, yeah, it's okay. Wild Growth is pretty good. All That Glitters. You got to think anything that's going on lands combines with Preston Garvey, so that's a big thing. All That Glitters is good for a deck like this for sure. You get a huge creature. Animal Friend is a new card. 1 colorless and a green enchantment aura. Enchanted creature has whenever this creature attacks, create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. Put a 1/1 counter on that token for each aura and equipment attached to this creature other than Animal Friend. If you're stacking a Voltron type thing during the deck and you play Animal Friend on them, awesome. I think that is going to be really strong in this deck specifically. I don't know how strong it is, period. Fertile Ground is good. Idolized. Is Fertile Ground good? Am I tripping? Whatever. Add 1 mana of any color. 2 mana is kind of rough for that because you have Abundant Growth and Wild Growth. It does the same thing essentially. But anyway, Idolize is an aura. Enchanted creature has whenever this creature attacks alone, it gets +X/+X until the end turn. X is the number of non-land permanents you control. Solid. I wish it wasn't attacks alone, but obviously for 2 mana, that's what balances it. This is a enchantment saga. It's one of the vaults. Vault 21 House Gambit is 1 colorless and a red. The first 2 steps say discard a card and draw a card. It's okay. The last one says reveal up to 5 non-land cards from your hand for each of those cards that has the same mana value as another card revealed this way. Create a treasure token. Oh, that's interesting. It's kind of like poker. If you have a pair, you get more treasure tokens. So that's fun. That's flavorful. I enjoy that a lot. Well rested. 1 colorless and a green enchantment aura. Enchanted creature has whenever this creature becomes untapped, put 2/1/1 counters on it, and then you gain 2 life and draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. 2/1/1 counters on it, you gain 2 life, and you get to draw a card for 2 mana. And it's going to happen every turn if you attack with a creature, or if you enchant it on, let's say, a land of War Elves. Every time you tap for mana, next turn you get to do it. I like it. That's strong, I think, especially for this deck. Acquired Mutation is a 2 colorless and a red. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and is goaded. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, defending player gets 2 red counters. So, yeah, it's just an enchantment that you're going to put on your opponent's creatures. Nothing else besides that. It just goes. Squirrel's Nest is okay. Strong back, enchant creature. It's 2 colorless and green, I'm sorry. Equipped abilities, you activate that target enchanted creature costs 3 less to activate, or a spell you cast costs 3 less to cast, and enchanted creature gets +2/+2 for each aura and equipment attached to it. I think if you're building a Voltron deck, this is a must-include for any green Voltron strategies. I think that's a really strong card. Vault 101, Birthday Party is a 3 colorless and a white. The first saga part says, create a 1/1 human soldier creature token and a food token. Okay. And then 2 and 3 say you may put an aura and equipment card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield, so it recurs, or you get to play for free from your hand. If an equipment is spawned on the battlefield this way, you may attach it to a creature you control, and you can skip the equip cost. That is really strong for this deck. I think that's going to be really, really good. 4 mana is a little hefty, but I mean, I think it's going to be really strong in Commander, at least. Grim Reaper Sprint is a 4 colorless and a red enchantment aura. The spell costs 3 less to cast if a creature died this turn. When it enters the battlefield, untap each creature you control if it's your main phase or an additional combat phase after this phase. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has haste. So this is definitely a main phase 2 drop that you probably want to play. And you can get down to 2 mana and you get an additional combat phase and you give something haste. I think that's strong, but obviously I might be wrong, but I think that's really strong. Mantle of the Ancients is a 3 colorless and 2 white aura. It says when it enters the battlefield, return any number of target aura and or equipment cards that could be attached to an enchanted creature from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to enchanted creature, and then the enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each aura and equipment attached to it. So you enchant it onto a creature, and you get to pull every aura and equipment card out of your graveyard and attach to that creature, and it gets +1/+1 for each. That is really strong, especially if you're running Dogmeat, who is trying to mill cards. And if you end up adding cards to the deck that mill, like self-mill more, it'll be even stronger. Yeah, I'm a fan of that card for sure. Almost Perfect is a 4 colorless green and a white aura. Enchanted creature has base power and toughness 9 out of 10 or base power and toughness 9/10 and has indestructible. It's just a beefy enchantment. It's the biggest aura enchantment in the deck. It makes sense that there's at least one. It doesn't do much else besides make them beefy, make them tough. Just like Caesars, it looks like we're getting a lot of reprints in the deck, except for one card right here. Junktown is a new land, I believe. It says tap, add a colorless, or for 5 mana, you can, or 4 colorless and a red, you can tap, sacrifice it, create 3 junk tokens. That's solid. I actually think you could include Junktown in Prosper as like a last ditch bailout. You play him in Prosper to try and flip 3 cards off the top for 5 mana. Not that bad. I actually like that land a lot. I'm a fan of that. Right now, it says that this deck is valued at $417. Obviously, that is before the deck comes out, and a lot of these cards are overpriced. Like, you know, Mr. Gutsy is probably isn't going to stay at $35. He might go up, he might go down. Ian Reckless probably isn't going to stay at exactly 10. He might go up, he might go down. Nobody knows how valuable these cards are going to be worth until they start to see play, they start to see how many other decks want them, and all that stuff. So obviously, if you're seeing stuff like this and you see 417, oh, I need to pick up a copy of this deck, that's not necessarily what the final value is going to be. So there's no need to worry or get overexcited or over anxious about this in any way. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you guys have any comments, please leave them down below. I cannot talk. If you have any comments, please leave them down below. If you have any criticisms, if you have any, let's say you don't like the deck, tell me about what you don't like about it. If you love it, if you're really excited about a certain card, tell me what card you're excited about in the comment down below. Besides that, I'm Rosie. This has been a fun video to make. I love making videos like this. If you want to see more like this, please like and subscribe. And again, comment down below. Tell me what you think. And I will see you guys in the next one. Also, before we go, you can check out my other channel or my other videos on this channel. I post a lot of Magic the Gathering content. I post some gaming stuff. I just try to have fun with making content and stuff like that for now. So check out my other stuff. Again, I've been Rosie. This has been fun. I hope you see you in the next video, and I hope you have a good one.